Hey, it's Overnight here. So this video is really just a quick sort of podcast style of tips and tricks of how you can improve your gameplay, try to move from that 700 bracket into 800, 900. So this isn't top level tips. This is just very starting low level tips, just small improvements that you can make to improve your game. So this match was done on Bel'Shir Beach, which was a tournament map from the A Mariner Cup from a year or two back. It's pretty good standard map. So there's three fronts. There's going to be the top, the middle, and the bottom. So the things to consider about this map is you've got four contested cities in the middle, but if you look at the corners, you've got heaps of cities. You got like 7 or 8 cities, like there's your money. So you got to think about prioritizing, like what is your aim when you look at this map. So I'll look at how I look at the map and how I would prepare myself. So I'm entering the match. What is it? It's tier 4. Okay, so what CO's got to pick? I could pick Jess, Jake, Cole, Ada. Let's leave it at that. So things to consider. So I picked Cole mainly because I'm a higher elo than Orange Star. So I thought, okay, if I'm not going to choose Ada, I'll just knock myself down a bit. I'll do Cole. So it's still acceptable CO because there are lots of roads. But it's kind of a lesser Ada. I think Jake is a nice choice because there's lots of areas you can put up artillery. I think probably the best choice to me, probably Jess, just for the ability, because you see there's lots of choky sections, just having that extra 10% to just punch through walls. But again, or Ada, I mean, look at the forward airport at the top and the bottom. Have +1 on movement on airports, always good. So those are the things to look at in the map. So next, I try to think about my first 5 to 7 days of movement. How can I make it as efficient as possible? So even though I do an APC opening in this game, I do not recommend it. If you are playing any Global League games, do not ever build an APC opening because your opponent will spot it and they will punish you because you are down a tank. So immediately they're going to build a tank. They're going to just try to punish you as much as possible. So you're always going to be on the back foot. You're always going to be behind. You're always going to feel pressured. So don't put yourself in that situation. But this is a friendly game. So I do an APC opening. Actually, Orange Star does one as well. So again, if you see someone do it in a friendly game, you can handshake on it and do APC opening yourself. Or you can just punish whoever tank. So remember, Global League, punish all mistakes. If you're playing high funds, maybe handshake on it. But if you're playing a standard, just punish. Like, you can be more dominant if you take the aggressive approach. You're up on tank, be happy, just keep that pressure on. So things to know about this map. So you've got two bases together, and then you've got a separate bases forward. So the forward base is actually your strong side, and the other direction is your weak side. So if you look at where I am as green player, so my strong side would be my south or down direction, and my weak side would be my west or east or left direction. So how do we do this? So first infantry is of course going to go to the base. So I'm just mainly focusing on my vision. So we play very similar here because we're similar sort of COs as tier 4, nothing too drastic. So, but I feel my moves were just more efficient, and I feel that that is what we really want to discuss is how did I do it more efficiently. So straight up, nothing changes. I go for the base. So next, we're looking at what do you do with your next two infantry. So again, my vision, my movement. So I got 2 infantry here. So I'm thinking money, and I'm thinking chains, and I'm thinking contested cities. So it's those sort of 3 things to think about. So if you go for every earliest property first, you're going to have more early income. Maybe you can get out that first tank. Ultimately, you want to think, can I get to some of those contested cities before a day 3, day 4 recon arrives and interrupts me? So that's another good thing to think about. The third factor is to think about chains. So if you can get a unit to do a capping chain, so what it means is when you finish a city, you move on to the next city. When you finish that, you move on to the next city. So generally, most maps have, a two city chains. So two chains with two cities in each. That's the general sort of rule of thumb. But this one actually has a really good one. So if you look, I'll zoom in. I won't zoom in. If you look where the infantry are for me, straight to the left, there's a city. 2 moves across the mountain, another city. Across that, it's an airport, and then upwards towards the comm tower direction, there's another city. So you want to get on that one straight away. That's your money. But other than that, it's about capping in a forward direction. So when you cap in a forward direction, you are actually putting yourself in a good position, because by the time you get to be able to tank, you're going to have 2 infantry with that tank at the front line. So I went for a city skip here because I wanted to get at least one of those contested cities, or at least have the option for it, before a day 3 or day 4 recon arrives. Whenever you're thinking about movement as well, think about maximum tiles. So I am here, so looking at my income here, I got 5,000, 5,000 next turn. So I see it as 10,000 over 2 turns. So if I spend 2,000 this turn, I'm going to have 3,000 carried over. That's going to be starting next turn of 8,000. So 8,000 I could build an artillery and 2 infantry. I can build 3 infantry, I could build 2 infantry and a recon. I could do an APC and 2 infantry. So think about your options. So something I wanted to time into it was, I'm going to purposely do this back cap right now, and then I'm timing it so that I build an APC the following turn. So when it finishes a cap, it gets to come straight back into it. I timed this because I felt like the infantry is just stagnant, sitting at the back, doing nothing. It's not really, can't really get anywhere. And if like where would it go? It would go down 1, left 2, and then after that it'd go to left 3. It's like it still can't cap anything after 2 turns. So it feels wasted. So that's why I tried to coordinate a APC opening. So as you can see, there's my APC opening. So I've done APC. So he's going to pop down into the APC, and that's going to transport him out. So whenever you do a transport opening, you got to think about making maximum value out of it. You got to move someone every turn, or boost someone every turn. Make sure you maximize that potential, because you're losing a tank. So you got to get your money's worth. So other things I did about my movement. So just remember how I was thinking maximum movement. So let's analyze each unit in order. So let's go back. So why did I do the movements I did? So that one we know is the city cap. So that was the very first infantry built out of that base. I wanted to get it into that chain straight away. So that's money. So what other things am I doing here? So this one here, so he could go for, it could go down, it could go left, it could go upwards. So why am I moving it this way? Well, the reason is I always want to get maximum movement, so +3 movement. So I've got given myself options. It can keep going left, or it can go to the port, just giving yourself options. And so again, like the infantry right now that's on the bottom base, it could back cap to get that city, but it's not efficient. If it goes forward and then the infantry that's behind of it takes that city, it's going to be more efficient. Maybe you want to cap forward, don't cap back. They are your cities. No one's going to take them off you. The close ones are all yours. So you do not need to worry about when you take them. Just take them soon, get the money, but you don't need to take them immediately. Okay, so remember I had the APC opening, I have the chain cap. The other thing I'm thinking about is Once the APC moves and drops off this first person, I want the APC to collect some on the next turn. So I'm planning that out. So it goes in, and I purposely position it there so that then the infantry from the bottom of the top two bases is going to go towards the APC. So as you can see, I got a cap chain at the bottom as well when I did that city cap around the mid properties. I'm trying to be efficient with my team member there, my infantry there, sorry, so it's going efficient, and the other one's going down. So I could have kept either of those cities here, but I thought, well, there's no recon or tank aggression coming at me right now, so why don't I take more contested cities? The option's there. Why not take them? If you did see a recon or a tank, maybe think about it. You know, if you're going to get interrupted, don't do it. If you think you can get away with it, yeah, go for it. Okay, so going for the port with that one, I went for the top city with that one. And there's the infantry that's getting ready to go into the APC on the next turn. So remember efficiency. So another thing we did this APC opening is I calculated that I would have a tank the following turn. And I did it from that base so that then it can go in parallel with the APC and protected from any tanks, recons that are coming out. So it was prepared for a normal sort of tank opening play. So let's see. So Orange Star has used the APC, done one movement to drop off a unit, so one transport, and now he's preparing for a second transport, by the looks of it, going up. So let's compare that to how I did it. I've done one transport, and now I'm going to do another transport. So already I'm one turn behind, but I'm already more efficient. So I'll explain this. So you see that movement there in the mid. So with the APC, I could see that it wants to go north. It wants to go to the middle section. So I broke my cap in order to cap the next city down because I could take it. So when you do this, when you break your cap to take the next property and then fill it with another unit like that, you lose 1,000. That's it. So it's not too bad, and it's actually something that you only ever see from probably 950 and above ELO players. Anything below that, no one ever considers it. But yeah, it's knowing that it's only costing you 1,000. So if you can get that future contested property and hold it, then you're going to cover off on that funds straight away. So here we go. So that city chain right there onto the airport. Again, first infantry build from our base. I'm getting maximum value out of it. It's on this chain, and I just leave it to go on this chain. So here, where am I going to move it? So let's count this tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles. So it didn't move to the maximum because I don't need to. So where I dropped the infantry, it's 3 tiles away from all of those cities over there, which gives me the flexibility to move my APC back to more options of tiles. So you see how everyone's moving forward at the moment? So you can actually see, if you look at the top left corner, how I've done it. So on the very top row in the middle, you've got the infantry that's finished capping that city. It's going to move on to the silo to the left, and then it's going to move on to the comm tower. So it's got its chain now. The infantry on the airport is going to go up north and hit the other city. So therefore, the one next to the APC and the one above the APC are going to go onto the far left property. So think about efficiency and movement. Get the maximum movement out of every unit. Don't try to make them cross paths. And again, what have I just done? I've prepared my next infantry to go into the APC. So it's not going to be able to go into the APC, but what I want is it to be boosted. So if I boost it, I'm gaining 1 tile. It might not seem like much, but over the match, if you boost a few times, that's more tiles than your opponent used. So I brought the tank down to the middle because there was no aggression against my APC in the top left. So now I can put pressure to posture, or stare down and just look fierce, and cover off on those middle cities, so that then I can take them. I've also built my next tank from the forward city. So there's always the discussion about, like, do you build the tanks from the forward cities, or would you go for the building infantry there so I can get all those cities? So both are valid, but I really wanted to make sure that I've got a strong, aggressive presence in the middle of the map to push my opponent back. Also, I made a plan. My plan is, while I take my airport, I want to airport lock my opponent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a tank from the forward base, then follow it off with an anti-air. So the tank is going to scare away any recons or tanks, and also stop the infantry from trying to catch things. And then the anti-air comes from behind and stops the airport from building anything. So again, as you can see, it's only day 7. I've already planned out 7 to 9 days in advance. And then I did a few edits along the way, like the contested city caps in the middle. Again, I wasn't taking any aggression, so why not take them? That effort of taking. It's much easier to hold a city than it is to try to take it off someone else. So here we got the APCs moved up to block the HQ. So Orange Star saw that I broke my cap earlier and has now figured to put something on the HQ just in case. So I'm not Sammy, so I wouldn't have gone for the cap, because I can see that there's like 4 infantry behind it. So I would have been interrupted for sure. All it takes is 1 interruption and I wouldn't have gone through with the cap. I'm not silly, but it's good to protect it, but I think that it was unnecessary just because you got all those infantry there. But on another mindset, because it's blocking the HQ, those infantry along there can keep going with their caps. So yeah. Alright, so let's see how things turn out this turn. So remember, I'm just trying to think about what am I doing differently that's efficient, which gives me more map control. So I've got my contested cities, and here is another one. So I calculated with that unit that I had to get it onto that city, because if I do my first cap now, the airport's finished. So if a battlecopter comes out this turn as being built, I do my second cap and then the battlecopter hits me. But I got the cap, that's what matters. So I don't care about the infantry getting hurt, I want the cap. If you don't get that one early, it's so likely to be interrupted by the airport. So I made sure I timed everything to get that one. So very quick, see, so this movement here, which of these cities do I choose? So I choose the one on the right or the one on the left. So the one on the right is 1 tile, the one on the left is 2 tiles away, and it's more forward. So whenever you're left with a decision like that, take the forward cap or the cap that's got more tile movements away. Again, you're trying to make sure you get maximum efficiency. Top left, why did I take that city? I felt it was the one that was most likely to get interrupted. So if any of those 2 infantry down there, the one on the city cap or the one on the city, came north, they would interrupt me. So I wanted to get in there first. So as you see, my chain is going there, that one's moving there, I'm getting my chain going across. Now watch the APC, I've moved it back purposely into that position for a boost. So that unit just got +1 movement. So he moved 4 tiles instead of 3, and I've set myself up for a transporter next turn. So again, efficiency. If you're spending money on an APC, you want it to be efficient. Again, I'm not saying anything bad against Orange Star's play. I'm just saying that my play was more efficient, and that is what we're analyzing. What little things did I do that got the win so that then we can see what could have been done better. So there's the anti-air build. So remember, it's going to follow the tank. I'm going to try to deny that corner while taking my corner. Remember, in the very beginning, I did plan to have the tank follow the APC and protect it, but it was unnecessary because there was no recon to tanks going out that direction. So the choice of artillery, I know the funding kind of fell to having one rather than a tank, but artillery are so slow because they have to move, then attack the following turn. So they can be denied. They're just slow to be aggressive. They have their place, they definitely do, but they're slow. So just remember that. I've purposely picked the tanks because they're faster. They do aggression straight away. So moving things up. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to get so if there was a Battlecopter built, I would have had my second cap on that property on the corner. And now let's watch everything come into play. So I got my caps. I really got my caps going. I got a second cap going there. And guess what? That one's going in there. That one is going on to the comm tower. And then the one that finished the forward cap in the top left corner, it's just going to go back and get that other city. So I've really made it efficient. Like if you compare the top left to the bottom right, we had the same opening. We both had an APC opening, but I have complete dominance in that corner. I've capped everything, and Orange Star hasn't. So I would say that I have been more efficient. So my tank has come out to scare away those two infantry. Let's go back and just do that step by step. So remember, we're looking at what I did was more efficient because that is the difference. So tank is coming in to scare. I unfortunately had to only move that one 5 tiles because the tank was in range to hit it. So I'm loading up my APC, and this time I'm moving it to the middle. But guess what? Look where it's standing. I'm going to get a boost out of it. Hey. So that unit has, so I've done 1, 2, 3 transports and 2 boosts in the same time that Orange Star has only done 1 transport. So I've been more efficient with my transport unit. So I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of it. Anything at this point is just a bonus. So I wanted to get, so I built a Battlecopter, and then because it's quite a tricky map, I then built an artillery. So I first of all give myself map presence before I have done an artillery. Okay, so that is part 1 of our discussion, and we'll take it from day 9.